Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan, the channel that shares all about your Thai girlfriend stories. Now, recently, we've been sharing a 3-part series from a guy that came over to Isan, worked as a teacher, got involved with a few nurses, had a few problems, and then he decided to get involved with a single mum who was a brand new teacher at the school that he worked at. So today we're going to share part 3 of his journey. I would definitely recommend to stick the kettle on, put your feet up, and get ready for today's Thailand story. Young, dumb, and married in Thailand. Hi Dan, thanks for sharing the video about dating teachers. The 5-year marriage to a teacher descended into what could only be described as total and utter chaos. Now, before I start, I would also like to clear up a few points from the last video. In the last video, I made a point about how the relationship was based on sympathy rather than attraction, and some comments focused on this. So I should clear this up. I was, of course, attracted to her physically. The point I was trying to highlight was that I had been dating other girls who were arguably and objectively hotter. Many of my actions up until getting married were based on sympathy. My actions showed I had led with the idea that I can solve her emotional problems. Dan is getting a lot of comments about his opinions about dating teachers and young professionals, and I agree with what Dan has said. Now, my story is not to demean young teachers or professionals. I am giving an insight as to what happens when you mix falling in love with a very emotional woman who becomes very career focused. When we first met, I felt we were compatible because we had the same job and were sharing similar experiences in life. We did have a similar mindset. Many retired foreigners had moved to Isan with ex-bar girls. They repeatedly warned me of the usual mistakes. Don't get a bar girl pregnant. Don't give her all your money, and don't build a house on her family's land. Don't fall for giving a massive sin sod. Remember, you're marrying her family, not just your wife. However, by marrying a young professional, never being asked to give her family any money, knowing she hadn't had a lot of boyfriends, and at least to start with, I saw how she wasn't interested in gossiping like all the other teachers who were interested in hanging out with me. I thought she was different. And in those ways, she actually was. But in hindsight, I was asking the wrong questions. I should have been asking, is she argumentative? Can she control her emotions? Is she a saver or a spender? Does she blame others and play the victim? Has she ever lied? How would she raise her kids? What type of schooling? What clear boundaries do I need to set at the beginning? Now, if I focused on these points properly, I would have found we were on totally different pages. Now, before going on, I want to make it clear that not all teachers make bad wives, or that I think ill of teachers. I am friends with many Thai teachers who are really great people. I have many Thai and Western friends who are married to teachers and are in happy, loving, and positive relationships. For me and my relationship, Our problems were not just confined to the fact that she was a teacher. There was clearly more going on than that. I tried to come across as fair and respectful about what happened. I wish no ill will on my wife and her son. I hope they have found peace in their lives. But at the end of the day, you cannot fix someone who cannot fix themselves, no matter how hard you try. So, I want to focus on two topics. One, prioritizing your career over your family. Two, finances. So let's begin. Working in a toxic environment. Teaching in Thailand is viewed as a high status job, especially in Isan and rural communities. In small schools in particular, teachers double up as other staff. For example, a school nurse, security guard, accountant, admin, etc. They are often working very hard, working plenty of overtime, and there is pressure from senior managers for younger junior teachers to prioritize their job over everything else in life. Now, this doesn't just apply to teachers. I have friends who are married to nurses and lawyers who say the same. Senior managers are sometimes single. They have no husband or kids. Their job has literally become their life. On one side, it creates a real togetherness within the office. When a woman has a family or kids, it can be problematic. Now, all women are emotional. My wife is at the extreme end of this. She suffers from acute anxiety at times and quite simply cannot handle a build-up of stress. Many women absorb a lot of stress, but in Thailand it can really build up and you get an explosion of rage, depression and chaos. In office life, gossip is rife. Anyone who denies this has clearly never worked in a school. Teachers hang out and socialize after school. They form little cliques. They talk about things which are very normal, like complain about a boss, complain about a teacher not pulling their weight, gossip about how the young 22-year-old cute female junior teacher is the Mianoi side chick to the 60-year-old married school director and how he is giving her 10,000 baht per month. It's just normal life. Now, they love to gossip about their relationships and their problems with boyfriends and husbands. A lot of, but by no means all, Thai husbands do cheat and drink excessively. Now, being surrounded by people in this work environment, along with her own issues, it's messing with my wife's head. She is stressed and is paranoid that our relationship will become the same as some of her colleagues. She is working long hours and weekends, and her school is 30 minutes away by car, which doesn't help. I want her to move to a school closer to home, or ideally, quit. However, she is a professional teacher. She has worked there for 10 years and is scared that by moving to another school, she will have to start at the bottom and work her way up the social hierarchy again. Now, I also have my own issues, balancing my job at a school and building an online business, 2 full-time jobs, plus helping my stepson to learn English. I'm making incredible money for someone in Isan, about 80,000 baht per month. And very importantly, B doesn't know this. Our finances are separated. She only knows how much we are spending per month, which is closer to 30,000 baht from my earnings, plus her 15,000 baht per month salary. Now, she is so financially illiterate. She has no interest in my savings and investments. I'm working so much that I simply have no time to spend money. Now she does a bit to help around the house, but her mental state is starting to suffer, and slowly but surely, so is mine and even her son's. Finances and debt. Being a teacher has many perks. It's a job for life. This is why her family encouraged her to follow the path. Teachers start on about 15,000 baht per month and get pay rises every year. They receive social security, free healthcare, and a very good pension when they retire. It is a very safe and secure job, similar to the UK. She's getting paid a stable salary and will have a pension when she retires at 60. As a government teacher, she is set for life. So, at the same time, the last thing that was entering my mind was financial problems. However, if you dig below the surface, you realize it is not quite that simple. For me, I'm saving money and trying to create a better future in Thailand. I have no pension rights in the UK. I need to be self-sufficient and learn how to save and invest by myself. I focus on planning for the future. Now B, my wife, on the other hand, has everything laid out in front of her. Like most government teachers, she has no reason to save money, but like all government workers, has access to easy loans. On the surface, we seem compatible. We're both teachers, the same age, and have similar family values. We enjoy spending time together, and for the most part, are getting along great. 99% of the time, we're just chilling and taking things easy in life, just like normal people. Now, the issue with her car from the last story, part 2, was 6 years ago. We have long moved on from it, and we seem to be working as a team. She's making money to support herself, giving some money to her parents and pitching in with groceries. I'm making very good money, but living fairly simply. I'm paying the rent and most of the household expenses. Now later, we buy a house. But I don't buy it outright. Remember, B is a government teacher, so we take out a large mortgage in her name. Again, as a government teacher, the interest rates we're being offered are unbelievable. 1% for the first year, 3% interest for the next 2 years. After that, it goes up to the full amount, a variable rate which was about 7 to 8% per year at that time. So in my mind, I'm thinking, let's pay the mortgage for a few years and then see what happens after that. However, in B's mind, she only sees, wow, now we own a house. The house is, of course, in her name. Now, viewers that are currently watching this video are probably waiting for the bombshell of her finances. So here it is. 3 months after buying the house, it's July 2021. 7 years after we got together and 2 years of marriage, she commits financial infidelity. She suddenly starts asking me for money, and I'm questioning it. It's 3 days after she received her salary. After a lot of arguments, and of course crying on her side, she makes me promise that I will never leave her. She hands me pages and pages of documents. It takes me days to go through all the documents and bank statements to work everything out. It's a total mess. Now, the previous month, she took out 400,000 baht worth of debt. credit card debt. She refinanced the car, borrowed money from the school. So I push her for an explanation. A lot of it is something about paying tax to transfer her parents' land into B's name and her sister's name. And I then find out she has a 750,000 baht bank loan from years ago before we met. In total, nearly 1.2 million baht worth of debt. Again, here is a little known fact. I come to learn that some bank loan repayments are deducted from her salary before the money is deposited into her bank account. So if someone is ever saying or complaining they have a low salary, this might be the reason as to why. The salary they receive in their bank account may be after the debt is removed. This depends on the type of debt, of course. The massive bank loan was out of sight, out of mind. She never physically saw some of the loan repayments exit her account. That is the attitude a lot of people have with debt. If they don't see it, it doesn't exist. In any case, I'm once again the one left to pick up the pieces. By this time, I've consistently saved good money over the years and invested it. If I used all my savings, I could just about pay everything off if I wanted to. And a few months later, I decide to pay off about 400,000 baht from the short-term loans, so at least I don't need to give my wife some money every month. Her repayments are higher than her salary. She now has enough money to take care of herself and run the car to and from school. The rest is for her to pay off over the next 10 years. Now, I regretted doing that immediately after I did it. What I had done right in the relationship was manage my finances. Yes, I was paying off the car every month, but we were both using it anyway. I was paying most of the rent and later the mortgage, but I'm living and working from home. Also, that 400,000 baht was the only money I really gave her over the 9 years. And really, this is the point where I should have left. In fact, my heart did. The reason I stayed was because of my stepson. I had grown attached to him and he viewed me as his dad. Now things got quite toxic between me and B from here on out. I ended up staying with her for about 2 more years, but we were drifting apart. I bought a new motorcycle and started going on bike rides across Isan and northern Thailand. I started focusing on my online business, working out and getting my act together, saving and investing money, getting into good shape and readjusting my attitude to focus on myself and my future. A couple of years later, I made a plan to leave. I should have left when the debt issue became clear, and many will rightly say I should have never gotten serious with her in the first place. Now, the purpose of the story is not that you shouldn't date professional women in careers, it's that you will always run into problems in any relationship. When you mix an emotional girl plus a high-pressure career, a toxic work environment, plus a family, things can get very tough. Now later, I meet up with some of my older Farang friends at a local bar. They all have their own stories and problems. Mothers refusing to let the father see their kid. Ex-wives taking tens of millions of baht worth of assets. Issues with drugs and gambling. Many have problems with running businesses with their wives. But the scariest stories are guys who have a kid and get divorced and then try to meet another woman. The jealousy is terrifying. I sit down with my chuckling Cockney friend and grab a Leo. We were reminiscing about an incident many years ago when a bar girl we met from another city started stalking him and his wife for a few months. He says to me, "My wife is like a light switch. One moment great, the next so dark." That sums it up. Who knows what was going on with my wife? I spent years trying to rationalize it and fix it. Really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You just have to live, learn, and look forward. I think most guys go through at least one bad relationship in their life. It's all about damage control. I tell the guys at the bar I'm traveling to the south of Thailand and will ride my motorbike around for a couple of months. My friend who runs the bar smiles and remarks, "You're not coming back. You should choose from a million different girls down there." We laugh together and he is right. Sitting in the bar with a beer, I see a guy's young wife come in and throw a rubber beer holder at him. He gives her 5,000 baht to convince her to leave. I sit back and start to think back to the day when Nurse Ning threw ice in my face all those years ago and what has happened in my own life since then. So I call the guy over and with a chuckle say to him, "Come sit down and have a beer. Let me tell you a story." Now, I later fly to the south of Thailand and we finalised the divorce a couple of months later. This was nearly 3 years ago. Onto a new adventure and bring it on. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about this story down in the comments below. For me, this has been one of the most interesting stories I have read on the channel, for myself anyway. It's nice that someone else actually understands what's going on. Now he's had some experience with women, especially over here in Isan. And it was good that he made it very clear on why I personally would never date a teacher that's looking for a foreigner, because normally guys, they're looking for a foreigner because they're in this amount of debt. Otherwise, they would go for a Thai man. They've got a good job, a successful career, retirement, etc. So Thai men do want them, yeah. But no Thai man is going to want a woman with a million or millions baht worth of debt, and they're not going to pay it. But anyway, it's good that this guy actually went into details about his situation with his wife, and it's not nice to be with somebody for so long, find out all of that and help her out in a big way with a 400,000 bahts worth of debt, paid for all the car, paid for all the household expenses. Now I'm presuming that she's probably still in a lot of debt. And if she's getting the money taken from her salary, then what do you think she's going to have to do now? She's gonna have to find another foreign man. And that's when her new story will begin. And it's not gonna be good for the guy that gets involved unknowingly about what situation he's going to be in. It's absolutely crazy, and it's one of the main reasons why I will forever stay single now in Thailand. Guys, I just want to be happy and free, and for me, I can relate to so much about the emotional trauma and stuff and what the women are like. And again, like what this subscriber said, it's not all of them, guys. You can meet good women. There are foreigners that are happy. The expats that I meet that are relatively happy, they've been with their wives for a long time. It was a different generation, a different time, and it seemed to be a good time back then, and you could find a wholesome, decent, good Thai woman that's going to be with you for you and for the little that you provide, etc. But nowadays, guys, you have to be extremely careful on who you choose, and even if you go slowly, I mean, it takes years sometimes for you to really find out who the woman is. So tread carefully, and I hope that you learned something from today's Thailand story. Now, if you want to share your own Thailand story, then please send an email to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. And because my life is nice and calm and peaceful, and I'm a happy man, I do want to start doing the interviews now. And if you're willing to put your face on camera, please send me an email and let me know, and I can organize to come and meet you. Apart from that, guys, take good care of yourselves. And if you'd like to buy me, William, and the channel a coffee, then the link is down below. Look after yourselves, and ciao for now. Bye bye.